Namo Buddhaya, Namo Amitabha. Hello everyone. So today we continue to discuss the life of the Buddha, and we're finally up to the 6 stages of his manifestation, enlightenment. So how did the Buddha realize enlightenment? We knew that he sat under the Bodhi tree, he defeated Lord Mara, and when he saw a star rising up in the sky, he realized perfect enlightenment. But what exactly did he do? So the Sutra also told us that the Buddha observed the 12 links of dependent origination, backward and forward, and he realized the perfect enlightenment. So we discussed what are the 12 links of dependent origination in detail in our previous videos, so today we'll just talk about it briefly. So the Buddha first observed what gives rise to death, to aging, death, and all this suffering. It's because of birth, because of the birth of this body. This is actually very logical. And what gives rise to birth? It's because of becoming. On the 12 links of dependent origination, the image for becoming is when a woman and a man making love. So they're acting through their body, speech, and mind, which creates the karma for the next rebirth. And what gives rise to becoming is because of grasping, clinging, the really strong desire to possess. It's because of grasping and clinging. And what gives rise to grasping? It is through desire. The growth of the desire, one needs to possess, to grasp. And what gives rise to desire? It's because of our feelings, our sensations, the attachment to these good feelings, the pleasurable feelings. Now, what gives rise to feelings? It's through contact. On the 12 links of dependent origination, the image for contact is when a man touches a woman. As contact, through contact, it gives rise to feeling, and then through feeling, it gives rise to desire and to grasping. So all this is very logical. And what gives rise to contact is because through the 6 roots, the 6 internal sense bases of 6 ayatanas. So we also discussed the 6 roots before. We have the eyes, the ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind. The consciousness to distinguish. So it's because of these 6 roots, then it gives rise to contact. Without the 6 roots, we can't contact anybody. We can't really touch anybody. So what gives rise to the 6 roots? It's through name and form. So what are name and form? Before the 6 roots were fully formed, they were called name and form. So when we were in the womb, before we had all the complete 6 roots, this stage was called name and form. So name refers to the mental phenomena, our feelings, our thoughts, our mental formations, and our consciousness. So what gives rise to the name and form? It is through consciousness. Through the power of consciousness, one is linked through a womb. How we enter into our mother's womb, we enter with our consciousness, and then in the womb slowly, it gives rise to name and form, and slowly we have all the 6 roots formed. Okay, so what gives rise to the consciousness is through mental formation or through karmic formation. So we don't just have one thought, but we have continuous thoughts, which creates this karmic force, this karmic formation, and which have our consciousness linked to the womb. While with our consciousness linked to a particular womb, because we have karmic connection with our parents, with this strong karmic connection, this karmic force, so the consciousness will link to a womb. Okay, what gives rise to this karmic formation? It is through a beginningless ignorance, a thought of ignorance, and then give rise to this continuous thinking of ignorance, and then the consciousness linked to a womb, and we enter into the mother's womb. So the Buddha first observed the 12 links of dependent origination backwards. Think about what gave rise to aging and death through birth, etc. we just discussed. And Also forward is like through a sort of beginningless ignorance, one give rise to karmic formation, and then there's consciousness, and then there is the name and form, and the 6 ayatanas, the 6 roots, and there's contact. Through contact there's feelings, through feelings there is the desire, through desire there's the grasping, through grasping there's becoming, through becoming there's birth, and then there's aging and death. So also the 12 links of dependent origination. So when a Buddha is not in the world, it's also possible for some beings to observe the 12 links of dependent origination and reach enlightenment, and such being is called Pratyeka Buddha. But of course we knew that Shakyamuni Buddha had actually countless eons ago already realized enlightenment, like it was revealed to us from the Lotus Sutra. So how did Shakyamuni Buddha actually realize enlightenment countless eons ago? So I'm going to quote a quote from the sutra for you. The Buddha told Ananda, "You should now keep it well and be careful not to forget it. All the Buddhas of the past, present, and future have taught this samadhi of reciting the Buddha's name. Because of the power of this nameful samadhi, I and the great bodhisattvas of the auspicious kappa have attained all wisdom, mighty power, and freedom. Similarly, all the immeasurable Buddhas in the 10 directions have attained the sanya sambodhi through this method." So it's very possible that Shakyamuni Buddha actually realized enlightenment through nameful samadhi countless eons ago. Or you may say, but Amitabha Buddha had only realized Buddhahood in the Pure Land for 10 kalpas. How could Shakyamuni Buddha realize enlightenment through nameful samadhi countless eons ago? Well, actually, there are also countless Buddha called Amitabha. And nameful samadhi had already also been there. When we say Amitabha Buddha realized Buddhahood in the Pure Land, this is a little bit like saying Shakyamuni Buddha realized Buddhahood in our world. Okay, this was just one of their manifestations, but they were also Amitabha Buddha. If Shakyamuni Buddha had realized Buddhahood countless eons ago, what says about Amitabha Buddha? In the Suragama Sutra, we also knew that there were actually countless Buddhas also called Amitabha. So remember Bodhisattva Manjushri, when Master Fa Zhao, the fourth patriarch of Chinese Pure Land Buddhism, met Bodhisattva Manjushri. Manjushri told him that countless eons ago he realized perfect enlightenment through nameful samadhi, through reciting Amitabha Buddha's name. Now we need to know that Manjushri is the 7 Buddhas' teachers. So also the teacher for Shakyamuni Buddha. If Shakyamuni Buddha's teacher, which was Manjushri, realized perfect enlightenment through nameful samadhi, it's also not surprising that Shakyamuni Buddha also realized enlightenment through nameful samadhi. So the 8th patriarch, the 8th Pure Land patriarch, Master Oyi, also believed that Shakyamuni Buddha actually realized perfect enlightenment through nameful samadhi. Okay, so just a bit of a more background story for you. Okay, so the Buddha had recollection of all of his past lives. Some people said, "Oh, how do I know if I obtain enlightenment or not?" Okay, if you ask like that, then most likely you're not. Definitely you're not. If you think you really are, first, this state is also not to be attached. But if you really insisted you are enlightened, check whether you have all these spiritual powers or not. Because if you're really enlightened, all these powers will be activated automatically. We also discussed briefly before. So, do you have divine eye and divine ear? So for Sotapanna, the first stage of enlightenment in Theravada Buddhism, which is equivalent to the first stage of faith in Mahayana Buddhism. Mahayana Buddhism, 52 stages of enlightenment. So if you are a Sotapanna, you will automatically have divine eye and divine ear. You can see things from very, very far away. You can hear the sound from very, very far away. If you don't have that, you're not even a Sotapanna, okay? And if you are a Sakadagami, like once returner, you will have telepathy. Right? If you don't have telepathy, you don't know what other people are thinking. You're not enlightened, definitely not. Not a Sakadagami at least. And if you can freely create and transform any form, and you can freely teleport to anywhere, regardless of time and space, all the past, present, and future, you can all go to, unconstrained by time and space, then you are an anagami. If you can't do that, you're not an anagami. And if you have completely destroyed all the intoxicants of your mind, extinction of all your afflictions, you are an arahant. So an arahant also possesses all of the previous 5 psychic power or spiritual power, divine power, in addition to the extinction of all mental intoxicants. This only the arahants have. Of course, the Buddha, the Bodhisattvas also have. At the level of the Buddha, their abilities are maxed. For an arahant, they can also have recollection of their past lives. The maximum is 84,000 mahakapas. But for the Buddha had really countless eons of recollections of all of his past lives. He could remember all of them. And not only that, the Buddha clearly knows every being's, all your past lives, all the past causes and conditions, why things happen to you, why things happen like this for you. So sometimes we may be complain in our life, why bad things happen to me, why bad things happen to good people. Because we don't understand how the law of karma works. We don't understand what happened in the previous episode. Maybe we did something bad to others, so then again in this lifetime something bad come back to us. So Buddha clearly understands all the causes and conditions, why things happen like this. But we as unenlightened beings, so we don't really understand, and then sometimes we complain. So don't complain, right? If you believe in the Buddha's teachings, you believe in the law of karma, the law of karma is very fair. If there is anything that's fair in this world, it would be the law of karma. So sometimes when shit happens, don't complain. We should give rise to the heart of repentance. It must be something wrong that we've done in the past. So in this lifetime, I have to suffer the fruit of my karmic action from maybe previous life, if not in this life. Okay, some people may also ask, so what is enlightenment? What exactly is perfect enlightenment? What exactly did the Buddha realize? So for enlightenment, before we discuss in Mahayana Buddhism, there are 52 stages. But the Buddha realized the perfect enlightenment, 52nd stage, the fruit of Buddhahood. So what did he exactly realize? What does this actually mean? What is Anuttaya Sambodhi mean? So at first, this is really beyond words. Whatever I say, I do not be attached to mere words or mere concepts. But because we are in this human realm, we still need to use words and language to express something. But the words and language is just like the finger that's pointing at the full moon. I say the full moon means Buddhahood. But because this is really beyond words, I choose absolute truth is really beyond words. Words are just sort of useless a little bit when we try to describe the truth, but the words is just like a finger, to guide you, and hopefully you can see the truth for yourself. Okay, so first the Buddha realized that actually all beings possess the same Buddha nature. We all share the same Buddha nature. We can all be completely awakened like the Buddha. Not only Shakyamuni Buddha can realize Buddhahood, we can all do that. Can you see why Buddhism is not a religion? It's completely different from other religion. Other religion, maybe at most you are like God's servants or God's messenger. You can't really be God. But in Buddhism, Buddha tells you that you can all be Buddhas. So Buddha is not God. The word Buddha means complete awakened. So what does complete awakened mean? It means that one is completely liberate from all sufferings of life, and also one is completely awakened to the truth of life and the universe. We all share the same Buddha nature, the same awakened nature. We can all have the perfect wisdom and blessings and virtue and merit like the Buddha. But for delusion and attachment, one cannot realize. Okay, so what does that mean? So, what exactly is this Buddha nature, this true nature of ours? Now, what is the truth of life and the universe? In the Heart Sutra, the Diamond Sutra, all try to describe this. Our true nature is actually no birth, no death, no beginning, no end. Infinite light and life. The word Amitabha, the meaning of Amitabha Buddha is actually our true nature. It's actually our Buddha nature. Infinite light, infinite life. No birth, no death, no beginning, no end. So currently we experience birth and death with this physical body. This is what we call illusion in Buddhism. Illusion means that these phenomena are actually unreal. Why is this unreal? Whatever that we experience, that is just impermanent in nature. This is constantly changing. This is unreal. What is real has to be unchanged. And what is unchanged is actually our Buddha nature, our true nature of the mind. Tathagata Gaba, no birth, no death, no beginning, no end, infinite light, infinite life. Really beyond words. You may say, what exactly is this? This is not a thing. Whatever you think it is not. Because whatever you think, you try to use your mind to analyze, to see what is this. This is not, it's not like that. It's the thusness, suchness of the nature of reality. Tathagata means that the one who has arrived at thusness, suchness, as it is. Okay, every sutra begins with such, thus I have heard, thusness, as it is. The truth is as it is. We should perceive things as they are, without attachment, without separation, as it is, beyond words. So, one time the Buddha was in Vulture Peak and he was expounding the Dharma. What he did was that he was just holding a lotus flower and with a very calm expression and said nothing. So no one understood what the Buddha was trying to say apart from Mahakāssyapa. Mahakāssyapa smiled and the Buddha said, Mahakāssyapa understood what I was trying to say. So you either get it or not. Let me mimic what the Buddha did. Imagine I'm holding a lotus flower. Actually, it doesn't matter what the Buddha holds. The lotus flower is just a metaphor for our Buddha nature. But it doesn't matter what the Buddha holds or what I hold. Okay, if you don't get it, don't worry. We are actually all unenlightened, let's just be honest, because we haven't gotten rid of our wrong perception, wrong thoughts, particularly our wrong thoughts, greed, anger, and ignorance. These are extremely difficult to get rid of. So don't worry if we can't realize enlightenment or realize Buddhahood in this lifetime. In the Dharma ending age, definitely we can't actually. It's not I said that, because from the sutra it said that in the Dharma ending age, actually no one has the ability to realize enlightenment by themselves. So don't worry. First, Nianfo and go to Amitabha Buddha's Pure Land, and there you will realize everything. You will understand everything completely. You can realize infinite light, infinite life, which is the true nature of who we all are. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Amitabhaya.